guys, so welcome to another episode of RVP. This week I've got mainly Sega Saturn games. With the Saturn I mainly get the Japanese games for two reasons. They come in this dual case, which makes it easier to store, and the second reason is because they're less inexpensive. Some of the Japanese games can be picked up for half the price of their other counterpart. So yeah guys, let's get to it. Let's get to the Japanese NTSC Saturn pickups. First up we have Clockwork Knight, a pretty good 2D platformer. If anyone collects Sega Saturn stuff, they know what this is. There was actually two of these. The Saturn being a really good 2D platformer console, this is a really good like Toy Story type platformer. It's a pretty good game, and I recommend if you come across this reasonably cheap, you pick it up. So yeah guys, that's Clockwork Knight on the Sega Saturn. Just put that there. Next up, Fighters Mega Mix. This can be picked up pretty cheap on both, on all the formats like US NTSC, Japanese NTSC and PAL versions. This is basically Virtua Fighter and, what's that? I can't think of the other fighting game. Let me think guys, let me think. I don't want to take too long. Rival Schools. That's it. Rival Schools of Virtua Fighter. Basically, it's a mix of the two fight games together in one with all the different characters. There's some really weird characters in there. There's a bear and all other types of unusual and strange characters, guys. So yeah, that's Fighters Mega Mix. Pick this up if you're into fighting games. I picked this up at $5. You can pick it up for $10 anywhere else. So yeah guys, Fighters Mega Mix on the Sega Saturn. Next up, Wangan Dead Heat. I did have a go at this. This is like a, how would you explain it? It's sort of a drift type, Need for Speed, Fast and Furious, yeah, type game. And Tokyo Highway Challenge on the Dreamcast, sort of a mix of those. It's basically got girls and cars. You pick a girl at the start, a new car, and you start racing. You got to win races and that, and you impress your girlfriend. It's a pretty good game if it's a car racing game, guys. It's heavily text based, but this is pretty good compared to another car game I got. So you guys, that is Wangan Dead Heat on the Sega Saturn. A really good car racing game if you're into that type of thing. Next up guys, on the Sega Saturn, Zap Snowboarding. This is like Cool Boarders, but not as good. Cool Boarders obviously was on the Sega PlayStation, Sony PlayStation. This is basically a similar game, but yeah, the frame rate's pretty slow. It's pretty jerky, and but it's still a half decent snowboarding game. But as I said, nowhere near as good as Cool Boarders. So that's Zap Snowboarding Tricks 98 on the Sega Saturn, guys. Not going into too much detail, guys, with these games. You'll see the video on the screen there. Next up, 04 Champ, Doozy J. Now this is you really need to, if you want to play the story mode, you really need to understand Japanese with this game. It's really heavily text-based. The quick race is okay. Basically, this is a drag racing game. This was on numerous systems. The Super Nintendo, the Sega Saturn, obviously Sony PlayStation. A decent drag race game, but as said, it's really hard to get into because the story, you don't know what's going on unless you can read Japanese. Otherwise, it's a pretty decent drag racing game. A little bit boring. But yeah guys, so that's 04 Champ, Doozy J on the Sega Saturn. Next up guys, Victory Goal. This can be also picked up. This is a J-League version obviously because it's a Japanese game. You can pick this up pretty cheap if you're into arcade soccer games. I'd probably put this up there with a bit. You can change the view, you can do basically everything guys. And yeah, it's a pretty good arcade soccer game. Nothing else much to say about this. Soccer I suppose guys. But yeah, if you get a spare $10 or so, again this is a really cheap pickup. You can have this PAL version for like $10 to $15. So you guys, that's Victory Goal on the Sega Saturn. Next up, Dynamite Deka on the Sega Saturn. This is also known as Die Hard Arcade for the PAL version and the US version. It's called Dynamite Deka. There's Dynamite Deka 2 on the Dreamcast. This also comes with like a little submarine game. I picked this up for not much, considering how much you can go for. Yeah, so if you're into the old arcade systems, guys, this is a pretty good game to pick up. It's even got like a Bruce Willis guy on the front. I don't know if you can see that properly because it's out of focus. But yeah, guys, that's Dynamite Deka on the Sega Saturn. Hoi! Alright, next up, Biohazard or Resident Evil on the Sega Saturn. I have Resident Evil 2 and 3 on the Sony PlayStation. I still have to get the first one, but considering this can be picked up for like $5, I got this on the Sega Saturn. I will pick it up on the PlayStation eventually if I can find a reasonably priced one. But this is in really good condition. Doesn't come with a spine card or anything, just comes with the instructions and some mail. Looks like a, I don't know, maybe a warranty card thing. So you guys, we all know what this is, good old Resident Evil. So you guys, that's Biohazard on the Sega Saturn. Next up, and last but not least on the Sega Saturn, this one does come with a spine card. It's in really good condition. It's Virtua On. This is basically a robot fighting game, 1 or 2 players. It's not a 2D base where it's like sides, it's 3D arena based, and you can choose different mechs or whatever and fight against your opponents. It's a pretty decent game, and probably better with the twin arcade sticks, if you can see that right there. I don't know if you can see that, but you can pick up like twin arcade sticks so it feels like you're driving a mech or moving a mech around. So yeah guys, that is Virtua On Cyber Troopers on the Sega Saturn. I really like collecting for the Sega Saturn. Like, I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, as a Sega console, I'd probably put it underneath the Dreamcast and the Mega Drive. But it's a really good 2D platform. I'd love to get the shooters on it, but they can be really, really expensive. And it seems that my camera hasn't run out, guys. I'll go over the last few Dreamcast games I picked up. Not many, just 4. First up, we have Air Force Delta. I'll quickly go through these. This is basically a flight sim. I have to hook my Dreamcast up to a normal TV though. This does not support VGA, which I'm a little bit disappointed. But yeah guys, that is Air Force Delta on the Sega Dreamcast. That's the Japanese version. Next up, a classic game on the Sega Dreamcast, Ready to Rumble Boxing, arcade game on the Sega Dreamcast. Very funny characters and all that kind of stuff. I think I showed you this in another video. So yeah guys, that's Ready to Rumble Boxing on the Sega Dreamcast. This one is called Shotoku Battle. You can't see that, but this is basically I didn't realize this is Tokyo Highway Challenge on the Sega Dreamcast. I already had this game in English, so it was interesting. I just seen it there. I didn't know what it was. I just seen it on the eBay and thought I'll pick it up. It was like next to nothing, $3 or something. So you guys, that is Shotoku Battle or Tokyo Highway Challenge on the Sega Dreamcast. And last but not least on the Sega Dreamcast, this one does come with the spine card. UFC. Obviously this has got older characters. This is from the early 2000s, I think, yeah, 2001 by Crave. So it's obviously got all the older fighters and stuff. Still a decent UFC game. I mean, graphically it's not up there with the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and all that, but it's still graphically decent game. Considering the game is like 14 years old, it is still pretty good, guys. So yeah guys, that is the last game for this week. Ultimate Fighting Championship on the Sega Dreamcast. No worries guys, thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll get my retro game box soon and I'll unbox that in one of my videos. I'll put up a link when I get it. It's basically a subscription where I pay $50 a month and I receive surprise video games. Sega Master System, Mega Drive, Saturn, SNES, NES, they just send whatever. And yeah guys, so that's about it. Thank you for watching and I'll catch you next time. See you later. Bye bye.